Your screen.
Right. No. There.
Yeah.
No. So then I do like.
Okay, we can start.
Yep. So here I have a little small version of our live setup. This is my half, and my dear friend Marcus has a very similar setup next to me. The heart of it, machine-wise, is a Xone 4D from Alan Heath, which is the mixer and the MIDI controller. So both me and Marcus have the similar mixers. And I run my audio signal into Marcus, so we have one output through his Alan Heath mixer, which is completely terrible sound-wise. So if you want to have good sound, you should not do that. But it's more convenient and easy these days when we play live. The main part in the computer is Ableton Live, as I said before. I didn't have the space and not even the synthesizers to put up, but normally we have more analog stuff as well, and Marcus have a lot of drum machines and small synths as well. So we tried to mix the software and Ableton Live together with the spot on and the improvisation easiness with the analog stuff. So the software is mostly selecting and arranging samples from the computer, and the analog stuff is to add improvisation on top of that, depending on where we want to go. For example, the 101, which for me is the most easiest live melody bass maker that exists. It's super fun to work with. Everyone should try one for a few. The 101, Roland 101. You can make it so simple because you just press one knob and then you decide the melody and it starts to play it in tempo automatically, which make that you can do other things and you can do that quick and you can just add it into the flow. You don't need to fix so much. See how to go. This one is a little bit annoying. We put it down here, maybe. I'm trying to record the screen, that's why it's there. So, or maybe we have it there. We use the Alan Heath MIDI part to control different channels in Ableton Live. You can see Ableton Live in my computer here. The Alan Heath mixer has a little setup of channels with faders and knobs. We also added a little Xone 1D to get more channels. So in total I have 12 channels, MIDI channels, where I have added different samples. And in all, like I said before, we have loads of sketches that is just a basic, it's no arrangement, it's just a little loop on each channel playing something. And it's quite basic, so you need to add something else to make it bloom somehow. But in each sketch, we have a logic where we add different types of sounds. So on channel 1, I always have a kick drum. Since I always have that, I always know that it's there. And even though it's dark and I do something else, I can put on and off the kick. On the next channel, I have a bass line. In this track, it sounds like this, or this sketch. So then I can, on this, on the mixer, can you see what I do here? No, you can. No, the recording you can, but not the people who are here. I have the next channel here. You can try it out later if you want to, and you can play a sketch. I turn on and off the bass. And then, depending on the track, I have a few channels where I add sounds, chords or pads or melodies or whatever. In this is just different basses and small sound loops. There's another little sound. There's another little sound. There's another little sound. And on the later parts, I had different drums, and hi-hats, and percussions. For example, here is a little clap, a little hi-hat, another little hi-hat. And on the upper ones, normally I route them out to stomp boxes. I have a little channel with analog filters, delays and phasers, but for some reason it didn't work. So I can't show that, but normally I run them out to that, so I have a possibility to tweak them with the stomp boxes. On each channel I also have the possibility to change both what sample I'm playing. I have a little selection of samples normally, like for example, here is a hi-hat. I can have one hi-hat, but I can change it to another one. So I can trigger the samples with the knobs, or the buttons, I mean. So while I play, I can change and I can turn up and down the volumes on the different channels, but I can also change the actual sample. I can also turn on an EQ if I want to start to filter the sound I have. I can also add different effects, for example a delay. And then I have other knobs, so I can change the feedback or the pattern of the delay. I don't need to show that now, but...
This is a stand channel? You're doing the effect by sending?
Yeah, exactly. And also, for example, on the sounds, on each channels I have looping. So I can pick up whatever I want. That's the basic. Then it's also I have muting, but this mixer is not really my friend at the moment. So it's kind of I don't touch them because I start to touch themselves. That happens with equipment. Both software and analog, they start to be themselves at a certain point. Sometimes it's very nice, sometimes not. So then when we play, this is a basic setup with the Alan Heath mixer. We felt that that's a problem with like a lot of the equipment that exists. They have loads of functions, but the function you want, they don't have. And then another machine have that function. So in the end, we have turned out with so many different small things, and each one need an adapter and a cable, and so you start to travel around with heaps of equipment. So at the moment, we're actually building our own mixer and MIDI controller. But it turned out it's so expensive, so we have to be slow with it. But we try to include what we need and exclude what we don't need in one box. So I also have a little fader Fox. It's actually a very nice, I think it's a Berlin brand also. They have lots of different MIDI controllers that you can add. And here I added possibility, because here all the channels I have here are just looped samples. And they're more used for slowly evolving and building up and taking down tracks. Sometimes you want something to be added like a trigger. So then we added different sounds for different sketches that can add that. Small adds. I also have a machine. It's Native Instruments, which I really like. It's very, very basic, and they managed to actually put in a lot of good functions without making it so complicated, which I was surprised by that. And with this one, you can both you can address. You have a lot of pads, and you address samples to them, and you have different banks. And you can both just trigger things if you want to. For example, if it's a peak and a break, and you wanted to make a little like that. You didn't need to plan it in a track. You can just hit it. For example, Marcus take away everything, and then I do a little. So you can be spontaneous and trigger things in the flow. But you can also loop things. For example, if you want to do a little, and then it starts to repeat itself. So it's a good way, like sometimes I do a sketch, but I need something, I need another hi-hat. And then I can add it on the machine. But you can probably, or you can base a whole live set around the machine, or Ableton's new Push. I haven't tried it yet, but it's a similar machine, a similar product. And you can, instead of having an Alan Heath mixer, you can route everything through that. But I use it more like just adding things on top. And then it's the analog department. I have under this, you can't see it, I have reverbs and stuff built in. So I can add that on the analog synths. And the Xone 4 mixer, it's a MIDI controller, and in the middle it has an analog part with 4 channels and effect sends and returns. So it's like a super mini mixer where I can add different things, and I can route the sound from the program into different analog channels. So I can choose to have one channel with all sound from the computer coming in, or I can divide it. I use both depending on how much analog stuff I use in a certain time.
So for the effects, you're using what it has, or do you control the Ableton?
It doesn't has anything.
So you control the Ableton?
In the MIDI part, I have software plugins controlling that. In the analog part, I have analog effects with me. So I send the signal out to them and put them on a return track, so it's coming back. I also have, I use software synths, so I can trigger and play. And it depending, like, for example, here I have a little Rhodes piano. And I can also loop it and play something and then re-record and play on top of that. And then, for example, if you want a string or something. So I can add things on top. So now I make a short little presentation how it could be if I would start to play this sketch, this certain sketch. And normally when we play it, this is how it starts, and then it continues with other synths, and then Marcus will start to add things on top, and I will slowly disappear, and Marcus will be more active in his appearance. when one markers come in, something happens, and it's always a little bit different. So this is kind of how we start. Maybe you want to try, someone. Come. A low cut and a high cut.
All right. tell Marcus he can stay.
Yeah. Exactly.
טוב, הלילה באומן 17. יש פה צמידים למי שרוצה, בכניסה בהנחה. תוכלו לראות את זה בלייב. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.